Some women want jewelry and some want clothing, and you've got a fisherwoman who wants $350 lures.
Time for the Angler Within podcast with Roy Bilby.
Hey, JD. I finally got off the perch bite. I got enough in the freezer for our Monday night fish fries. Actually, I got enough for 20 weeks. So it's time to start catching crappie, bluegill, walleye, and other species just to have a rotation. What's been going on with you?
I have been a stick in the mud. No, I've been stuck in the mud. Yesterday was a crazy day, but it got even crazier at the end of the day because I took a ride out to the Landis Arboretum. I don't know if you're familiar with that location. It's very pretty.
I was there once for a scouting event.
Yeah, very nice place. Did some business there, and then I had to go look at a campsite that was out there. It was a very sunny, very pleasant day, a little bit of wind, and I thought it was safe to drive down into this area, and it was soft, and I didn't pay attention to how soft it was going down this like grass road. And then when I left, I got stuck, and then I tried to gas it out, and I sank up to my ankle in mud.
Oh.
Ah.
Is it a low spot, a wet spot?
It just doesn't drain out very well. And so...
Okay, because everything here is dried out.
There was no service. I had to walk up the hill to the road, find one bar of service,
Yep.
call a friend of mine to come get me. He comes in this giant truck that he doesn't want to take any. He took it off the Crusher Run pad that was up there, and to get close enough to me, he had probably 100 feet of ratchet straps, and we had chains going, and shoveled stuff and wood, and did the whole 9 yards trying to get this thing unstuck. It was in there. So he goes to back out when we decided we had to call the wrecker. He goes to back out, and he's stuck in the mud.
How far did he sink?
Like pretty far as well, far enough that he couldn't move his truck.
Oh boy.
Fronts and rears in the mud. So
have 4-wheel drive.
Yeah. It doesn't matter much when you're in mud. And that nasty clay stuff too. It was gross.
And not when you sink in.
But it was like clay. It wasn't even, I mean, the mud was the grossest stuff I've seen, and it was basically clay. It was, you could take up a glob of it and it wouldn't stick to your fingers.
Yeah, the thing with clay is it's super, super slick.
Right. So
slippery. You got no traction whatsoever. It's greasy.
So the wrecker shows up, and he does a tandem. He yanks us both out at the same time. I'm tied onto his truck. His truck's tied onto the wrecker. And the guy ran the winch and pulled me about, 200 feet up this hill. Got done. What do you think the damage is for something like that for a wrecker?
2 vehicles, 200, 250?
$432.
Ouch.
I should have said drum roll, please. Wow. That almost needed a drum roll. So yeah. So that was great. And of course I covered it because I asked the guy to come and help me out, and he got stuck on my behalf. So I suppose the gentleman thing to do. I didn't have the heart to ask him to split it. When you said how much it was, I was like, this guy. However, that guy could take a $400 hit better than I could. Didn't seem to mind.
An upstanding thing to do because
it was. And I have something nice to give him as well, so be all right. But $432 later, here we are. We were supposed to record this last night, but I got stuck out there. So here we are with a guest that is one of the folks who has influenced my fishing. It was probably one of the first times that I, quote unquote, leveled up, started to learn more stuff.
Yeah.
And, haven't really talked to this guy in probably 10, 15 years, but he was with me the day I got my late dog, Cassie. We'll tell you that story. That's definitely a highlight. I had never heard of Dave's Tangle Free either until if it wasn't for this guy's orbit.
Yeah. Okay.
Please welcome to the show, tournament fisherman and guide extraordinaire and lots of other things, DJ Collise.
He
How you
messed it
doing,
up.
DJ?
What?
Collise.
DJ Collise.
I'm doing pretty good, guys.
I have
Welcome to the show, DJ.
I have never gotten that right. I think as long as I've known you, DJ.
Oh, it's all right. It's gonna happen. Like I said, never once does anybody read that name and pronounce it right. It's just the way it is.
So tonight we have a JD, a DJ, and one ROY.
Yes, very good, very good. Maybe we'll name that episode, or this episode, this episode that. So I met DJ in Vermont when I was a state park ranger, and DJ was one of the most intense fishermen I had ever seen, and caught the biggest bass that I've ever seen in my life to this day. And it might still be his personal best.
It is still my personal best as well. Can't beat it.
How big was it?
7.2.
Hey, see, in the Northeast, that's really hard to beat.
Oh yeah, I've been searching 10 years for that fish, and my fiance last year broke that one with a 7.8.
That's a true giant. I've been bass fishing diligently for 40 plus years, 42 years. I started keeping a journal when I was 25, and my biggest is 6'11", and I will top that, but it's a daily challenge to me. It's hard to beat. Those are true giants where we live because of the length of our growing season.
Yep. I've had a couple confirmed over 8s that I have seen in
Okay.
locations, and then a buddy of mine would text me like an hour later. He's like, "Oh, I just caught an 8.13." I was like, that was literally my fish. I just saw that like an hour ago.
Yep. Hey, but the problem is they're all northern strain. They have northern strain genetics. We have an abbreviated growing season. So those are
Yep.
old experienced fish, and they are hard to beat. But
They are smart.
Cayuga Lake is the place to beat it right now.
I got some other places in Vermont that I'm not going to let people know about, but we
Good.
got Cayuga beat.
Keep them under your hat, DJ.
They're certainly up there. I bet I even know a couple of them. One of them
I
you
bet you
one
do.
of them you brought me to, I believe.
Yep.
Begins with an F.
And we will not mention him by name.
I won't say the whole name.
yep.
Begins with an F though.
Yep.
That was one that
Even Silver Lake, like I'll say that one all day because that's where we met and everything. I've seen 8-pounders pulled out of there too.
I love it. I say, you know what? Go ahead and leave the cigarette in. I think it adds to the character of the interview.
I wondered if you were going to say something.
I was
'Cause I
DJ
actually heard it too.
I'm all over Roy for different stuff. If he ever had a cigarette or a pencil in his mouth, I would jump all over him. I would have been all over him. That is funny. So for those of you out there, DJ is he's the John Daly of fishing.
And Seth Fighter.
There you go. Seth Fighter, the llama.
Yeah.
He don't care if the camera's rolling or not. He's just who he is.
That's kind of who I am too. I'm unapologetic.
Nope. be
Unless
yourself.
I mess something up, obviously, but
You're better at being you than anybody else.
So DJ like I said, he taught me a lot. He's one of the folks that got me to care about bass fishing some more. He made me want to learn how to cast a bait caster because I was mesmerized by it, and then of course you got me even closer to it, Roy, and now I finally have that addiction going. I've got 5 of those hanging from my ceiling.
And now you're proficient.
Yeah, exactly. I am though. A couple years, got the hang of it. Not like all these trick casters that you see on social media. Though, holy cow, what is up? What is up with these guys?
I'll teach you how to skip a dock with a jig. You skip a dock, you got a like 1/4 inch to get under that dock. I can right under there, man.
Yep. It
Can-
takes a lot of practice. But
Can you set up like the hoops? Can you set up a hoop on dry land and like cast it and like have it go wide out and then go into the hoop like those guys?
Oh yeah,
like those guys in China.
Set up too, and I play cornhole like that too.
Yep. Practice your pitching.
Mm-hmm.
I should
your
start doing that.
accuracy. Yep.
No hook, just a weight on there.
Sometimes I like to keep it like a flipping hook. So like if I'm punching mats and stuff, I'll have like a 1 ounce, 1.5 ounce with a hook and a weight and the worm and everything, keep it consistent to know like this is what I'm actually going to be practicing with instead of something lightweight, to keep that accuracy, because that's what you're going to do in real life. So I might as well just burn through a couple baits. It's not the end of the world. You're not going to hook nothing. Like
When I
that's
used
what
to
I do.
practice, when I used to practice my pitching, I would put on the same skirted bass jig that I intended to use, like a
Yep.
3/8 half ounce bass jig for pitching, and I would just take a hunk of plastic worm and cover the hook point so it wasn't going to stick in anything. And
Yep.
I would go. My wife was doing meetings with like Girl Scouts at a church on Wednesday nights, and I would go with her and I would stand in the sanctuary for an hour pitching to the different pew legs because the ceiling was high enough and I could and I could practice my pitching for accuracy, distance, and all that stuff. So yeah, practice makes perfect.
Absolutely. You'll find me at fishing expos, the New Hampshire Expo, the New England Mass Expo. I got a rod, and we'll be flipping and pitching in the middle of the halls when it gets slow during the day too.
Yeah.
So you set up that's like tell me how you get involved with being an exhibitor like that.
It's a lot through different sponsors, stuff like that. So I've got, Big Bass Dreams, Defiant, Biwa, Douglas Rods, couple other companies that I work with, Berkshire Bass, like depending on who's doing what when. Like this year I worked for Douglas Rods at the New England Expo in Marlborough, Mass, and I'm one of their pro staff and pro sponsored anglers for Douglas Rods. So I was out there selling some rods and teaching people, this is a lot of teaching people about rods and how to set up a rod specifically for a technique.
Cool. And that's the deal too. When your sponsors call and make a request, you jump because that's how you keep sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
So many young people don't understand that. I work with the college students at the local college. I started a bass club and team, and in their third year they won the collegiate championship. I had
That's
a lot of
awesome.
I had a lot of talent in the club, and a lot of
Helps to have
kids.
a good teacher too.
Well, well, I try, but they had a lot of talent. They're 40 years younger than me, and I can teach them old stuff, and they can teach me new stuff. It is a two-way street. You can learn something from everybody that you fish with. Even if it's somebody with no experience, because they'll try something you would have never thought of.
Oh, absolutely. I have that mentality of when I'm taking somebody out I'll let them do their thing for a little while and see if that's working. If
And
it's not
watch.
working, then I'll say, hey, try this, or
Right.
try this, or do that. But like sometimes those weird things that I wouldn't expect because it's not normal, sort of say,
Yeah.
will absolutely kill.
Yeah. And then it's your new secret weapon because nobody else
Yeah.
is doing it.
If you're not learning from anybody and everybody, you probably shouldn't be doing this anymore. It's one of those people get too stuck in their ways of,
Oh yeah.
oh, I'm only gonna do this. This is the right way. Like that's why I like fishing so much in general and the community of fishermen, because you can teach people and learn from everybody.
That's right. 100%.
So what took you from like just kind of messing around fishing to getting way more serious?
There was one very specific moment that I remember, I will never forget. I was dating a girl in middle school, and her father-in-law had a bass boat. And at the time, I was an all-species angler. I didn't care what I was doing, what I was targeting. If it was trout, bass, walleye, perch, crappie, it didn't make a difference. I was just wanted to be out on the water, and I wanted to catch fish, horn pouting. It didn't care.
Okay.
We went out to Mascoma Lake in New Hampshire, which is relatively close to where I'm at. And it was pre-spawn season, so relatively early, around this time of year. and he taught me how to use an old jerk bait.
Oh,
What?
I don't remember.
Is that the
Not the
What
Collise.
are you doing? What is all that noise?
Me?
Are you breaking sticks?
It
Is
might
it-
be the peepers, actually.
Is it the fire? I think it's the fire. It's crackling. It's super loud. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you with that.
you're-
You got to understand, we're hearing all the fine noises. We do hear the peepers though too. I hear them.
Yeah, they're loud as heck.
I hear the peepers. Sorry. So continue. I apologize.
So we were out. I think it was the old Smithwick jerk baits, the big jerk bait. This thing's like 6 inches long.
okay.
And he's like, cast this thing out as far as you can and reel it down 5 times and then drag it back and stop it. And I was like, this is dumb. What's gonna this thing's huge. There's no way.
Right.
Second or third cast, 3.5 pound smallie. I was like, oh, well, that was cool. It just
Yeah.
stopped. I mean, it just stopped. And I was like, oh, that was cool. Next cast, it was like a 4-pounder. And it just kept going all day. And that was that pivotal moment for me where I was like, I love bass fishing. This is
what
so
I'm
much
doing.
fun.
Yeah.
And
This
he
is-
was actually throwing a little old school white rooster tail for trout.
Yeah.
But we were smoking smallies on that too. And I was like, this is nuts. I love this. And that is the pivotal moment where I fell in love with bass fishing.
And you became a bass fisherman,
Mm-hmm.
hopelessly addicted.
Oh God, yes.
So when I met DJ, he was already competing, and I was seeing what the difference was between, a guy like me who just learned what a super fluke was, and
Oh,
and
got one
DJ
tied
who
on right
was
now.
who was setting up multiple rods for multiple uses, sitting on the floor of his living room. We were in there hanging out, and he's sitting there just tying away, getting all of his rigging done, and
Yeah.
I was mesmerized by it.
You're like, why do you have so many rods?
So then, as
I had like a legit mini tackle shop set up in there. I had a pegboard with baits hanging from the wall, like 3 or 4 packs of this, 4 or 5 packs of that, a bunch of this. And he's like, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
Yeah. He's seen my basement where I've got 90 foot of pegboard loaded, and most of the pegboard hooks have 20 to 25 packs on them. I mean, I've got
Yes.
6 and 8 inch long hooks,
He's
Yep.
he's an organized hoarder with purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose.
That's how he labeled me.
Absolutely.
As time continued and DJ and I lost touch, I always watched you. I always followed you on social media, DJ, and you took off, man. You started doing all you're getting all kinds of. You've picked up sponsors. You've obviously been competing. What's it been like on the competition side of things?
It's been honestly kind of surreal and almost like a dream come true, because I started doing tournaments in a 16-foot aluminum boat that I built myself. I had a 150 quart beer cooler that I turned into a live well.
Yep.
I put a live well or a bilge pump in it.
Yep. Just to
So I could-
recirculate.
Yeah, keep that thing aerated. I'd have to tip the bilge pump over the side of the gunnel to fill it.
Yep.
But once it was filled, it was a really, really nice cooler, so it
Yeah.
stayed cool all day long. I never had issues with fish dying, and I was competing on Champlain with guys in legit bass boats,
Yeah. Wow. That's a big lake for a 16-foot aluminum rig.
Oh, with a tiller handle too, no, mind you.
Ah, Yeah.
Yeah.
when I
And
my first rig was a Pro 17 1989 Bass Tracker, 17-foot aluminum with a 40 horse Evinrude, and
Yep.
I immediately dove in way over my head into 150 boat field tournaments on Champlain, Hudson River. I mean, it was exciting, but it was overwhelming, and all I did for a lot of years was pay people really good money to fish against me.
my went the little bit opposite way with that was because when I had that little boat, doing these tournaments. I was doing some club tournaments.
Yep.
You know, it was 30 boat max, which was pretty good.
Yeah,
And
that's a big
the
club.
first year, I ended up winning Angler of the Year out of that tiny little boat.
How about it? Good for you.
The second year, I ended up winning Angler of the Year again, and our club classic, which was a 2-day on Champlain.
Yep. Can't hide talent. Good for you, DJ.
And then the next year, I upgraded significantly from that 16-foot aluminum to the Phoenix that I own now. 721 Pro XP Phoenix with the Merc 250 on the back.
Yeah, you took a quantum leap.
Yeah. But that didn't stop me from winning, because that very next year with the new big boat, I won a club classic and Angler of the Year for 3 years in a row. Angler of the Year, 2 years in a row, the classic win.
That's awesome. That's incredible.
And it's just been uphill since then. We've done I kind of stepped away from the club tournaments because not to sound cocky or anything, but I wanted to challenge myself more, and I just needed to challenge myself more. It's like, I'm winning consistently.
That's how you grow.
I need to do better. Started doing the BFLs for the last probably 4 years.
Yep.
And it's been fun as heck, just traveling the country, Virginia, North Carolina, upstate New York on Oneida or Onondaga, and there's, all sorts of cool lakes, Champlain, the James River, learning different techniques, different presentations, and
regional baits and stuff like that.
Oh, that's a huge deal. Absolutely.
Shad spawns that we don't have up here.
Also, huge transition to learn. Tidal water.
Yeah, impounded,
like the Potomac,
as opposed to natural lakes that we have here.
Yeah. So
crazy.
it was just
BFLs are a tremendous playing field, because you've got some big names in those fields. You have a lot of guys to test themselves against everybody else, and you've also got the local sticks who are always favored to win. So
they come in like hammers. Absolutely.
I fished a bunch of them. The best I ever got was a 6th place.
I think that's where I got 6th place on the Potomac.
Okay.
And now, last year, I was trying to do a Toyota series, and I unfortunately had a couple mechanical failures and mechanical issues with my motor. It just happens, and kind of, I was on the winning fish. Absolutely 1000%. I had stuck a 4.5 flipping. I had got a bunch of other bites. I went to go move, and my shift actuator had gone in my motor, and I was like,
And you're stuck.
I was stuck 45 minutes away from where I launched too.
Yeah.
On Champlain.
So how'd you get out of there? You just called towboat or something, or?
Yeah, was on the phone for like an hour trying to call people to, insurance, the tow companies. And of course, there's a huge storm coming. I'm like, guys, get here now. I'm stranded.
Yep. Always. Has to be.
But this year is redemption for that Toyota series, because that Toyota series is a whole nother level of not messing around. Like, those guys are legit pros.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A lot of them do those.
Yep. And hopefully we'll see how it works out this year, but that's the plan.
Really good money in those too.
That's the best.
Career maker.
I mean, not to demean or talk shit about other tournament leagues, but like the BFLs, my fiance and I decided to do the Reynolds Trail this year.
Okay.
It's a bit better payouts for what you're paying for the overall tournament. So you're doing 75 to 150 boat tournament, $300 entry, but your winnings and earnings are just so much better. And my issue was with the BFLs was that like the earnings and winnings overall weren't as good, but some of these tournaments I've got to travel 12 hours to.
Yeah.
And that's just, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm only going to win $5,000 and I got to travel 12 hours, that's room, board, gas, hotels, food. Like we're already talking $5,000 at least.
Yeah, and you have to win,
Right?
or you're losing money.
Yeah. So, and the upside is I get to fish with a freaking gorgeous woman on my boat all day long.
Yeah,
like, oh, darn.
So let's talk about that. Last time I had seen you, obviously you were in your first marriage.
Yep.
And then obviously that ended, and then you ended up with someone else, and I thought I saw on your social media that you proposed at a convention, at a fishing show.
Yep. So the New England Fishing Expo in Marlborough, Mass. I proposed to my now fiance, Kara Tomlinson, on the tank, which is the first and only proposal done on a tank ever throughout the country.
Like a hog trough?
The hog trough, that's where it was.
Oh, that's so cool. What a story.
And we
Yeah, I
had,
bet you're the only one.
I had a hinkle trout that I had procured because she is a big swim bait fanatic.
Okay.
Like her and I, when we're not doing tournaments, we are hunting for true giants, throwing giant swim baits. And that was one of her baits that she hasn't been able to get. And so I got the ring, and then I got a hinkle trout, which is probably one of the most absolute legendary swim baits of all time.
How much do these things cost?
They're expensive.
The hinkle trout's $450.
So when you lose one of those, do you dive in after it?
Sometimes.
Swim bait.
On average, some of my swim baits are, I would say, $150 to $300.
So she's in.
Wow.
She's got his out dangerous side, and you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Some women want jewelry and some want clothing, and you've got a fisherwoman who wants $350 lures, is what you got.
It's literally a friggin' dream come true.
So she spends more money than you do then on lures.
Oh, it's the best thing ever because pre-fishing for Candlewood, we had a tournament just this last weekend on Candlewood, and I had figured out a bite, and I had lost and broke the bill off my last jerkbait in the Northern Secret color. And I was like, hey, do you mind running to the tackle shop and seeing if they've got any? She's like, they got 4. I'll pick 4 of them up. And then she ended up spending like an extra $200 for herself. And she's like, I did a bad thing. So like, there's never an issue of, hey, I just spent $300 on lures. Okay, cool. What did you get for me? Like, I don't have to hide that stuff ever.
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't have to hide it either, but I'm not buying any for my wife. I mean, she supports what I do. And but she's not into lures.
I actually, for Christmas last year, built her a giant pegboard wall so she can display everything, and it's just swim baits. She's got probably
Crazy
80 swim baits on this pegboard wall.
Goodness, that's an investment.
Yes, it is.
I feel like Roy has kind of met his match as far as someone who's got the bug. Like,
Yeah.
Does he remind you of yourself, Roy, a little bit?
100%.
See, I figured you'd like this guy.
Because he's in a pod right there. That's
awesome. Absolutely.
There's,
kindred spirits.
There's like, what's the next thing up from a triad? What's the word for that? I don't even know what it would be, but like, DJ, you're one of my main 4 people, like I said before, not to kiss your ass the entire episode, but you seriously were one of my biggest influences. You, Roy, Pete Meyer, and my buddy Sean, who's he's the bamboo rod maker over at Orvis. He's a master fly fisherman, but he put a whooping on Roy when we had our tournament here. Which, by the way, you got to come out before the lake that we like to go to is public. You got to come out and fish this on your kayak with your girl. Come on up and camp. And
kayak only tournament.
It's kayak only tournament. Yeah.
just so I could do it.
Yeah, DJ, you're
Okay.
invited. You're invited to the Crumhorn Classic. That's
Luckily,
over.
Sarah just bought a new kayak, so I get her old kayak. So we got 2 decently set up kayaks.
What are you doing 4th of July weekend?
Oh, probably got a guide trip. That's a pretty busy weekend.
All right. Well, at some point you got to come down. There is a fall classic as well. Yes, Labor Day weekend.
The entry fee is everybody brings in 1 or 2 lures, and it's a winner-take-all event. It does not have to be a swim bait, okay?
It's all weight, not length.
Oh,
So
thank God. That's one issue. I was just talking to one of my sponsors the other day about JCS from John Scungio from the Marina.
you were telling me this too. Yes.
That's one issue that I find with kayak tournaments is they do length tournaments, and that's one reason why I won't do them is because you can catch
Oh,
an
yeah.
18-inch fish that's
Right,
3 pounds, or that 18-inch fish could be 4 or 5 even.
right.
I just don't understand. I just personally, it's my thing, but like, that's not my jam. I'm about the weight, the big, length doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, no, I've always been a weight guy just because of bass tournaments. But you got to consider in those big kayak events, they can't make everybody purchase the same $150 scale. But everybody's ruler is the same. I mean, that's why they do it that way. I mean,
if you're doing a tournament, there's very specific things that you have to have for a tournament. You've got to have a liability insurance. Everybody has to have that, like
Yep.
everybody has to have the boat. Everybody has to have a life jacket.
Yep.
If you want to do a tournament, just everybody buy the same scale.
We had a hard time trying to figure out for the Crumhorn Classic how we were going to measure that. In fact, we had one individual who I will not say who it was, a friend of ours, get pretty irritated because I was trying to get the catch boards. I was like, we should all just use a catch board and just be done with it. And that involved
It's
an
this whole
investment,
kayak thing.
and that's an investment. And not everybody could get a hold of one. And so we're trying to figure out what the universal measurement would be. And then it ended up just being, all right, look, Scout's honor, weigh the sucker, take a picture of it, throw it in the group chat. And that's how we did it. I think for the next one, though, we should invest in all the same scales. That would be
So
the move,
What
I
we
think.
do for swim bait tournaments, right, is we do a bunch of online swim bait tournaments, swim bait only. The requirements are you have to have a scale that locks the weight.
okay. Yep.
So the Berkeley scales that you get from Walmart, they're 20, 15, $20.
The Bubba scale is a lot more. I have a Bubba scale, but it locks the weight.
Yeah, but there's the cheaper option, which a lot of guys do.
Yeah.
And so you show the scale, you clear it out, show that it's on zeros. You show inside the mouth of the fish. You show the whole fish. The fish cannot leave the video that you're doing. You weigh the fish, it locks in, and you show the weight. That's it.
Yeah, that works.
You don't have to invest $150 on a scale if you don't need to. The
Right.
Right.
cheap Rapalas or whatever, they do it. I
Yeah.
hate them. Don't get me wrong, because I love my Rapala and my Bubba scale way better. But
Yeah.
So all tournaments aside, though, you do obviously enjoy getting out there on the kayak just as a craft, getting on the water, obviously, right?
if I'm not tournament fishing, I'm just hunting giants all day.
Yep. Throwing a swim bait. You can hear the Jaws theme in your head.
So
Or, I'm not a hardcore swim bait guy. I'll throw conventional if that means I got to throw a jig. I love fishing a jig. I love flipping and punching and frogging.
Yeah. It's all good.
It's the hunt for a true giant is my focus when I'm not in a tournament.
Yeah, he's trying to beat that PB. That's what he's doing.
Oh, I've been trying for a while. It's
Yeah.
going to happen this year.
But that swim bait's what's going to do it, and you know it.
That, a frog. I caught a lot of really, really, really good fish on a swim jig. Consistently catch really, really big fish on a frog. I mean, I got my first frog fish last weekend.
Last
here.
weekend?
Oh yeah.
And that's up there. What's the water temp up there?
Oh, it's cold.
Yeah.
But so I
What
think
was
of
going on there?
all you need to do is, so for me, I'm a through and through shallow water fisherman, diehard shallow water fisherman. The first place fish go, big fish, true big fish,
Yeah.
follow their bait. If you learn where the perch are going to spawn, typically the perch go up into the most shallow, warmest water. As soon as ice comes out, they're going to go up there and spawn.
Yeah. Now
That's
you're
a
talking
lot of
my language.
That's a lot of real big bait for some real big hungry fish that are smart and old. I have had more success doing that in the past 5 to 10 years than any other ice out. You find where there's pads, where it's overgrown and gross in the summertime, those
Yeah.
pads aren't there anymore.
Right.
They all died down.
Yep.
Now those bass can move up in there, and now you can cast in there. And I'm telling you, it was just like the most beautiful thing. I caught a 4, a 3, and another 5 just the other day on a frog. Ice out frog fishing. Because that water's 2 foot deep, and it's going to be 5 to 10 degrees warmer than the rest of the main lake.
It's going to warm up quicker because, especially if you got a dark bottom. But I wouldn't be thinking of frog. I'm amazed that you did that. I really am.
Oh man, I tell you what, you get a frog fish in April or May. That's fun.
Wild. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's a big tip right there. A couple nice tips.
Yeah, no.
This interview. Kyle Patrick didn't give us these tips.
Oh, I actually work with Kyle every now and again because he's a Douglas Pro as well.
Rods, so right.
Yep.
He uses Douglas.
He's a really, really cool dude. Really cool guy.
High energy.
Mm-hmm.
The fruit bat.
A little bit high energy for me, but he's a nice dude for sure.
Yeah, he is. And Lee Livesey coined him the fruit bat.
Yeah.
There was a tournament, and he was fishing next to Lee Livesey, who's a guy out of Texas. And Kyle went to step backwards, and he stepped off his boat right into the water. And
I remember that one.
And Lee starts laughing, and he was hanging on the side of his. He came back up. He's hanging on the side of his boat. Lee said, "You look like a fruit bat just hanging there," Yeah, and it stuck. So,
friend of the show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal, is to make it into the Elite Series one of these days, but it's a little daunting, especially with all these young kids coming up. And
holy cow, with what they're doing.
Man, I mean, it's incredible. I was just outside that range of not being able to have a high school bass team, but man, that's so cool to be able to go to college for fishing and do that in high school and have a high school team. If I had that available when I was starting out fishing, I tell you what, I wouldn't be standing here right now.
Right. That's all stuff that they grew up with, plus the internet and all. We read books. We had to buy VHS video. The learning curve is so short now with everything that's out there media wise, and you can Google anything. And it's a very, very shortened learning curve. And what they did with the Elite Series this year, JD, you and I talked about this on another episode. They did a coin flip to decide.
That was brilliant. Beautiful decision.
Yes, it was. No behind closed doors. It was straight up front. I thought that is absolutely brilliant. I thought the same thing. That's the way to do it. Full disclosure, full transparency. They've had 4 tournaments already. 2 that included forward-facing sonar that you could use it, and 2 where you could not use it. And interestingly enough, the 2 forward-facing unit tournaments where you could use it were both won by guys that were under the age of 22. The 2 tournaments that they had where you could not use it and had to fish old school techniques were both won by guys over 50.
Yep.
Where on the old school, new school scale does journaling fall?
Oh, I think that's 1,000% an old school thing that a lot of new school guys are forgetting about, because like I spoke with Roy and I've been talking with Roy about that, and he helped me out to set up a journal because I've known about it, but I feel like that's a very specific, like when you're hunting and looking for a very particular giant fish, that's something that you start doing.
Yeah, it's going to help. Yeah, absolutely.
So
That moon phase is, I got a bite at this
Critical.
time. The barometric pressure was this. The cloud cover was this. The moon phase was this. That fish is there every single year on that day.
And you go back and duplicate. They are creatures
Absolutely.
of habit,
Yep.
just like us.
do you use, so how are you journaling now, DJ? Are you writing it down or using on water, or what are you doing for recording your days?
I got a little journal, and I'm using Roy's platform that he sent me to kind of help me figure some stuff out. And
Yeah, we texted back and forth. So I sent him my pages, told him, I use a voice recorder when I'm fishing to record as much detail as possible. So I've got it all recorded. When I go home, I write it all down.
So full transparency, DJ is a friend of the show, as is his fiance. We had recorded once before, but life took over and it was so much time. Last we spoke, there was still ice on the water where DJ is. So we decided to bring it up to date, up to speed, because we're trying to be good about that kind of thing.
There's
So
actually so much ice on the water that I went out ice fishing a few weeks afterwards, lost my phone down the ice fishing hole. So I lost everybody's phone numbers and all the conversations from like up until 2012. So I got to get hooked back up with Roy again. It was like damn near a state record bluegill that I had caught, and I was taking a picture and the phone just went down the hole. It was it was a 14-inch bluegill.
Holy cow! 14 inches.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was massive.
That's gigantic.
so
Be a
Pretty-
state record.
so before you hop off, tell us about the guide service you're hooked up with now, and how that's changing how things are for you.
It's pretty awesome. So you can find me on social media at 3D Fishing, and that's Facebook and Instagram. And I'm offering guide services from 4-hour trips, 6-hour trips, 8-hour trips. I'm doing personal training lessons to do. If you want to learn anything and everything, if you want to learn how to throw big swim baits, that's what we're doing. And I hooked up with my buddy Mike Blatt out of Hanover, New Hampshire, and he's helping me out. And we run kids camps as well. So we do kids camps in the winter and kids camp in the summer. And we get the kids out on the ice, and we get kids out on the boat, and it's
Take
just
'em ice fishing. Cool.
oh yeah, it's been a blast. So the kids have February break. We go out and we get trips, and sometimes we'll have 20 kids out on the ice with us. It's a blast.
Wow. Yeah, you can't do that on a boat, but you can do it on
No.
a frozen lake. That's cool.
We do it on the boats, and we've got myself, Mike, and another guide if we need that'll come out and do trips. So we got 4 kids on each boat, and we've got a sleepaway camp for the first time this year, I think in August, up here in Canaan, New Hampshire. We've got a camp booked, and we've got kids booked already. So we're going to have a whole week of night fishing and day fishing, and it's just going to be a blast teaching kids how to go out and go fishing.
Cool.
Very good. All right, and that's called, what's the name of that company again?
You can either look up myself, 3D Fishing, or
Right.
TDC Guides. as well.
TDC Guides.
And I'm working on a website at the moment. Just building a website's kind of difficult. So,
You'll figure it out. You figure everything else out. You'll be all right.
yep, I'm working on it.
Love it. Well, thanks for coming on. This has been a blast, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Kindred spirits, man. I'd like to catch a 14-inch bluegill. That raises the bar significantly.
And the worst part is I don't even have a picture of it because my phone fell down the hole.
I know.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. I'd be
I
crying.
was like, it just wasn't meant to be. I let it go and just, I know that I caught it.
Yeah.
Nobody else does, so it doesn't really count, but whatever.
Well, I do. And I'll take you at your word.
slide into Roy's DMs at all lowercase Roy Bilby.
I appreciate all the comments we get each week on the episodes. We thank everybody for listening. And as always, we are here to help you tap into your angler within.